Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Technobabylon. If you'll recall, last time as Mandala, we escaped from our unfair confinement away from Reddit and 9gag and something awful and other nonsense we like to surf online by crawling into this comically large air duct tucked away safe in the middle of the police headquarters of Newton City. Let's further investigate and see what else is going now that we know a bit more about the plot and the people involved.
Ahem.
Whoops.
Dr. Lau, you have a visitor.
Oh,
Good evening, Dr. Lau.
hello. And you are...
Surely you recognize him.
Nope. I don't. Unless it's Colonel Sanders.
I'm afraid you'll have to enlighten me.
This is Dr. Vargas, the Central Operations Coordinator.
Okay.
Now, Galatea, there's no need to be quite like that. The fact that I am not widely recognized perhaps indicates how successful we are.
Yes, you're right, Father.
Vargas? Dr. Eduardo Vargas?
Quite so, Dr. Lau.
What brings you from the Fulcrum Tower, sir?
A most grave matter, I'm afraid. One I believe you specifically to be most suited to handle.
Shall I, Father?
Please do, Galatea.
Central, I believe the audio EM capture system in this room to be faulty. Please run a deep diagnostic on the system.
Certainly, Miss Vargas. Beginning scan.
So
We
apparently...
have perhaps 2 minutes until the diagnostic cycle is complete.
Dr. Lau, have you heard of a gentleman by the name of Baxter?
Baxter. Yes, we certainly have.
Dr. Adam Baxter, convicted murderer?
And a brilliant engineer in his time.
Yes, I've heard of him. My partner had a history with him. His parole hearing and eventual release really got to Dr. Regis.
Quite so, poor Viksha. I don't think Charlie ever got over
So he knows him.
And unfortunately, it appears that he's taking things into his own hands.
And Bones.
You have a connection to Regis as well?
Quite so. He worked for me in a research team, as did Baxter in the same project.
And Viksha Regis?
Precisely. We lost half of the team in one fell swoop that day.
Dr. Lau, when did you last see Dr. Regis?
Last night, before Central went into siege mode. Why? What's happened?
This morning, Dr. Baxter was found dead in his workplace.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh, Charlie, no.
I share your concern, Dr. Lau.
Central believes Dr. Regis to be the most likely suspect.
Well, fair enough.
He would have known that Central would be unable to provide oversight during the siege.
And he had no shortage of motive, as I'm sure you'd agree.
Interesting. Yeah, I find this to be a more interesting question. Why wouldn't we want Central hearing about this?
You're the controller of Central Operations. Why would you need to cut the camera feed with a trick like that?
I apologize, but for the sake of city security...
Yeah, can't tell me. Classified, ultraviolet A, etc.
Sassy.
I'm glad you understand.
I might understand, but I'm not happy about it.
Noted, Dr. Lau.
It just doesn't sound like him, though. He had other outlets, like his garden.
I don't fully agree with Central's assessment either. That is why I'm activating you on this case.
You want me to investigate Baxter's murder with my partner as the prime suspect? Isn't that a pretty serious conflict of interest?
Nah.
It is within my prerogative to select agents I feel appropriate for casework, if necessary. Using it to aid an old friend, a good man, like Charlie Regis, I think that's worthwhile.
Remember that your primary responsibilities are to the law and to this city.
I think I've heard enough.
That's good to hear. I'll have Galatea T-mail the case data to you.
T-mail,
If I can be of any further help, don't hesitate to drop by my office.
At the top of the Fulcrum Tower, make an appointment beforehand.
Diagnostic cycle of monitoring systems complete. No wetware or firmware anomalies detected. However, please ask Dr. Regis to stop obstructing the lens assembly.
I wish you luck with your work, Dr. Lau. For Regis's sake.
So, a reasonable question would be, did Central really cut the feed? If we're imagining it to be a all-powerful thing as it is, surely it wouldn't need to completely cut all feed. Oh, we have wetware as Dr. Lau. Interesting. Yeah, surely we wouldn't need to cut all feeds just to do a system diagnostic, but what do I know? So, here's an interesting little conundrum. The fact that Dr. Baxter was found dead certainly indicates Charlie, Dr. Regis, However, if Baxter was really the guy pulling our strings, from a metagaming perspective, would they really have just eliminated that entire plotline basically off-screen? Just had Charlie go away and do his revenge business with us only controlling Mandala at that point? It is an interesting question to consider, and one that bears further investigation. But for now, we are Dr. Lau, so we have our jolt gun, just like Regis did. We have wetware, just like Mandala did, so we're a bit of a hybrid of the two. See if there's any, see if we can get a hold of him.
No answer.
Yeah, I didn't really think so. That would be a little off if we could. Goodness knows what he's actually doing, though. He said he was going to take things into his own hands, so who knows. Case file. Right. Yeah, we know all about that. Oh. Heart Grill Preparatory School. Well, Grey Goo, as we've mentioned before, is the out-of-control growth of nanomachines, which do nothing but turn other matter into themselves. It would be a... Ah! That's excellent. I love this guy. It would be an out-of-control scenario and very difficult to stop. Andrew Tembe obviously is not super thrilled about the students. Again, you can slow this down to read it. I'm just sort of reading it myself a bit. So, this is an interesting thing when they talk about hobbyists modifying wetware on their own. Obviously, Mandala was involved with such a project herself. And I think I mentioned, what burns and contamination? I bet the minor injuries would be complete conversion into nanomachines. Oh, well, whatever. Gabati's still going well. For Newton, that is. UAE is having a rough time with it. And, again... a day and a night for staying indoors. Thanks, Chikishi. I believe I will. Yeah, as I was saying, I was a microbiology student for a while, as well as computer science, and in that capacity, I was part of a synthetic biology mailing list full of people. I mean, you would...
Nah, I've already got it set up just right.
All right. You would probably be surprised by the number of people that have garage labs, basically, and are trying to genetically engineer their own kinds of neat microbes to do various projects. They do little plasmids in DNA to insert into a variety of organisms and things like that. It's quite a long way from being extremely deadly. Obviously there's concern that people would engineer a bioplague or something like that, and that's a bit harder to do than I think people make it out to be. It's something that I do believe a certain level of monitoring is probably appropriate for. But just know that there are, in fact, high-tech science hobbyists out there doing really neat bio stuff. And I would encourage you, if that's the thing that sounds like you want to know more about, look up synthetic biology or the synthetic biology mailing lists. You get a lot of really neat stuff. And, most of it's dross, like in any internet community. Lots of it's just arguments and... people, sharing news stories and things like that. But there are some really, really unique stuff out there. And I like the garage side of hobbyists. People making things in their garages, like how Myst was made by some hobbyists back in the day. Anytime tools are made available for the broad public, I'm generally in favor of it. I mean, heck, I'm producing content, and many Let's Players are doing the same, with just bad little laptop and an internet connection, so yeah, I'm all for it. Alright, let's rub this wetware and everything.
Got to wait till the AI lab have had their turn analyzing her. Then she's all mine.
That sounded a little weird. Sometimes the voice acting seems like it's delivered through different microphones or something. I don't know. Alright, yeah, I don't care about that. Let's see if we can get some email or whatever. Ah, Galatea. Please find access to the investigation's case files. And she's intense about keeping us out. Galatea, of course, is a figure from mythology. Here we go. BAXT for Baxter, I'm sure.
Ow! Hey, what was that?
Oh, I don't know. From Regis. No subject, just says Max Lau. Okay. Oh, put a sock in it, Central. Interesting. If we will recall, Dr. Lau was born biologically male and transitioned with the help of next generation medical techniques at some point in time in her life. And Eddie, our brother, is concerned about us, and apparently, though the transition is, medically safe, it is still frowned upon, at least in wherever our hometown is from. And our stubborn parents miss us, and so does our brother. But we're not coming home. We know that this Newton City life is going to change us, and that's for the better, as far as we're concerned. Right? Yeah. Right. Dr. Adam Baxter. The Vickerman Tatsumoto Telepresence Laboratory. Interesting. He was an organic computing guy, which again is a field that I've had a little experience with. Okay, so Charlie was definitely there. High anti-civil behavior index. He was a police officer, so I'm not sure. You know, these guys came in, Galatea and the, I can't think of his name right now, the guy who's in charge of many of the operations of Central, and assigned us to a case and did it secretly, but, I mean, Central has to know we're the only officer assigned to the case, so presumably, would, if Central had some questions, it would have asked us that. Oh well, who knows. Okay, Cell HQ is just going to be our office, because they don't want us going out and fighting Mandela Gone, I guess. We can either go to the crime scene or to Fulcrum Tower, which is where the administrator was from. So, what do you say we head to the crime scene? See what we can divine. I think this is a really neat design. Vickerman Pharmaceutical Labs here. Doesn't this look really cool? Just kind of this high-tech growing area right in the middle of the city.
That's a lot of green.
Sure is.
Excuse me.
Great, they finally sent someone. You here to get the body out?
Oh, it's SAS time.
Maybe. I'm Max Lau, cell case specialist.
No kidding. I'm the lab director, Dr. Zvidzai Chigwa. Make it quick, I'm busy.
Okay, Dr. Chigwa. What are you doing anyway? That robot's doing all the work.
What's your role here?
I'm the supervisor for the telepresence factoring labs. Most of it's automatic. I just make sure it's all running like it should.
Sounds like a big responsibility.
It's a lousy job most of the time. TP is where management sticks people they don't want in public-facing roles.
You're not happy with it?
For the last few years, my career has been one disaster after another.
Lady!
I'm just glad it's plateaued into some kind of stability.
There is something called oversharing.
Can you tell me what happened?
Baxter got killed.
In any more detail?
When we started this afternoon, a whole lot of samples had been tampered with. We tried to call Baxter to find out what the hell was going on in the specimen bank.
And he didn't answer.
He didn't. Turned out the door to the specimen bank was locked too.
You haven't seen the body?
No, not in person, if that's what you mean. We got the camera feed online, but it was obvious that Baxter wasn't going to be coming out.
When did you last see him?
Guess it could have been Wednesday?
So he could have been killed any time in the past 3 days?
I guess, but it wouldn't fit with everything else.
Okay, well, that's a potential wrinkle to the case, and we are looking for wrinkles. Look at these little mole things popping up and down here. I mean, I wonder if they're monitoring soil quality or something. This guy is just zipping back and forth doing goodness knows what else, and there's no more efficient way than to have a hovering drone. I love the future.
What's the purpose of this lab? Plant studies?
Yes and no. It's a TP lab, telepresence. There's a lot of research that's not exactly legal in some countries.
I see.
But in Newton, pretty much anything goes.
Exactly. If someone in the EU needs research done on something hazardous, infectious, or endangered, they send the orders here and we carry out the testing.
What sort of research?
Mostly we make new angiosperms from scratch. That's flowering plants.
I know what an angiosperm is.
Gee, thanks. Why would people want new flowers?
Sometimes it's a drug delivery method. The earliest commercial examples were fruit that grew packed with insulin. A lot of new wetware begins its life as engineered fruit, too.
Must be awkward if they cross-pollinate in the wild.
And a legal headache. Part of our job is making sure the copy protection works.
Copy protection in plants? Ouch.
Oh, that's not so bad. So this place is kind of the Monsanto of the future, and because Newton City is apparently a legal Wild West, anybody that wants to do anything questionable does it here, which means this lab is probably home to a lot of, well, I'll say interesting experiments.
Aside from yourself, who else works in this laboratory?
There's my intern, Martin Neester, operates the factoring line. If you meet him, it's easy to see why they put him in here.
Okay.
And until recently, there was Dr. Baxter.
So I thought he was lobotomized, which apparently they only take the part of you that can do bad, or whatever.
Tell me about Mr. Neester.
He came over from Eurofed on a study program. He's young. I guess we were all like that in our youth.
Good colleague?
He's all right. He got on board with that annoying Maladist trend. He knows how to follow instructions, so I let him get on with it.
His visa still active?
Dr. Lau, we do not employ undocumented illegals in this lab.
Just have to check. I'm sure you understand.
Yeah, well, I mean, you also grow death plagues or whatever. Your entire lab is set up so that people can do illegal things here, so excuse us for being a little nosy.
Tell me about Dr. Baxter.
Oh, he was bad enough to work with in the 60s. As part of his parole, they stuck a governor in his head. Since then, it's like talking to a badly written synthetic.
You don't care for him a great deal.
That man killed Vicky. Frankly, he deserved what he got.
But you still work with him.
He worked for me. It was another part of his parole. Vickerman's management persuaded centralized government that his skills were going to waste in prison. The company wanted him supervised by someone who knew him. Hence, they dragged my sorry ass in.
What did you have him doing?
He organized the specimen bank. It's the kind of thing we could just leave him at for hours on end. Days, sometimes. Really, it could have just been done by the facility's AI, but I had to give him something.
Otherwise, you'd have to talk to him?
Exactly.
Okay, so she knew him back in the day. So this is a small little research world we're encountering here. Tightly knit, everybody knows everybody, and everybody hated Baxter, which is probably relevant considering that he's dead.
You've got a keen mind. What's your take on this?
Hey, I'm not the detective, young lady. You know what I think? I think Regis did what they ought to have done 20 years ago.
Why do you say that?
Seems logical. We've got him coming into the labs on security, then we got him coming out an hour later. When we get here, we've got Baxter's corpse contaminating the specimen bank.
Anything else?
Well, something strange. Since we got in, we keep finding samples that have been tampered with. Looks like he spent his hour here messing up the genomes of our specimens.
That quickly?
If anyone was good enough to do it that fast, it'd be Charlie.
You know, he was a nanomachine operator, though, so I'm not sure I exactly buy that he's tinkering with genomes, but that's something we will certainly have to investigate later. Also, I should point out, I mean, you know, I know it's going to work out in this particular case because this is a videos game and the narrative goes along cleanly, but this scenario is exactly why people might want something like an AI running things, because what we've got here is, to my mind, what ought to be a fairly open and shut case of a man with an extreme motive entering a place, leaving it, and then the guy that killed his wife years ago is dead. So, you know, it seems like he ought to be pursued in that way. However, his high-ranking friend pulled some strings to get somebody extremely sympathetic to him to actually handle the case. You know, that kind of favoritism is troubling. Which, again, we ourselves know Charlie to be well, I'd say a good guy, but we did just bomb a building. You know, I'm not even sure we know that. I think, well, who knows what I think. I think we better have faith in our protagonists for now, but I also think that if I was a citizen of Newton City and I learned about this whole scenario, I might question the decision-making process of the people in charge. Just saying.
You knew Regis as well.
Yeah, I was on a research team with him and his wife back in the 60s. Baxter, too.
You've apparently known him a long time. Does this seem like something Regis would do?
Oh, after what he did to Vicky, I'd have strangled Baxter too. I tell you, if he did do it, I wouldn't blame him one bit.
Do you think he did it, though?
I don't know. He was always kinda shady.
Tell me about it.
Charlie?
They made him do some real awful stuff out in the hot zones.
Such as...
Let's just say his escape led to a whole lot of people being jailed for war crimes.
Gosh, that's a more intense backstory than I even thought.
You seem preoccupied.
That obvious, huh? We found a couple of specimens that Regis tampered with in his hour here. So I gotta run through the catalog and dig out the backups.
Sounds straightforward.
Not when there's 11,000 samples to take. Oh, I could punch Regis for this. Though, I want to shake his hand for Baxter so it kinda evens out.
Shake him and then punch him.
What's been done to the samples?
He's used a customized viral vector to add huge amounts of junk DNA to their genomes. These are the last two I found, Medioflorens interensis and Linacia lawsonis.
May I have a look?
Do you think it'll help?
Just a hunch.
Alright, M.I. and L. Uh-huh. Well,
Huh. Non-binary. Quaternary data string?
What do you mean?
My wetware systems are interpreting the genomes of these plants as sections of an audio file.
what?
He's used the DNA to store information.
What?
You think so?
It's incomplete. The two samples only make up a third of the data, but M and L, my initials. This can't be a coincidence. He's left a message.
What does it say?
Not sure yet. I could probably construct the whole message if I can find where he's hidden the rest of it.
Safe to say it's in the other plants he's engineered.
Yeah, I figured that too.
Take this. You can sample DNA from the plants around the lab. If you run out of sampling cartridges, you can reload it at this console.
Thanks. How long would it take to sample everything in the lab?
Only a couple of years. We have over 11,000 subjects. You're better off looking for specimens that would fill the gaps in the clue he left.
Alright. Well, boy, we got a lot to talk about, but that is interesting. It's also, fine, sure. He found a way to record audio data in DNA, and assuming each letter, okay, so DNA has, unless they are working with an expanded genome or something like that, or, synthetic nucleotides, you've got 4 potential nucleotides, which means instead of binary, you could go quaternary, which does allow you to store, more data in a more compact way. But still, I can't imagine storing a legible audio message it would take a lot of DNA, is what I'm saying. Just an awful lot of it. And doing it in a way that you're sure it's going to be found, I don't know, man. You could have sent us a message or something like that. Whatever. It's a fun thing. It's a fun future-y thing. It doesn't make any sense, but we don't require that it does.
So, you worked with Regis and his wife, as well as Baxter. Did you also work for Dr. Vargas?
That pompous ass? Yeah, I worked for him.
Oh.
You don't care for him.
He was a competent researcher, but he lives for politics. Everything was always about making the world a better place.
Yeah, what a jerk.
And you don't think it should be better?
It's a nice idea, just not realistic. And what we ended up making, it was... Actually, never mind.
It was what? Come on, that sounds important. Also, right, fact, nothing has ever been better than it was before. I don't know.
What happens in the specimen bank?
It's where the samples of plants and growth matrices are stored. There's a huge library of subjects to work with, natural and man-made.
And that's where Baxter worked?
Yeah, it's not exactly taxing. I wanted
It's
to see
taxing.
what he could do since they put a governor in him.
You left him to work alone in there?
I'll be honest, he was not a pleasant man to talk to.
Yeah, I suppose.
I wonder why Regis hid a message inside the DNA of these plants.
DNA's been used as a data storage medium before. Rather than on-off binary, DNA would be quaternary bits. Adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine. If he just left a message on one of the systems, though, or even on paper.
Then someone could have destroyed or erased it. Short of burning down the entire lab, they'd have no way to be sure they destroyed a message hidden like this.
Especially since he scrambled so many of the other samples as camouflage.
He needs to make sure it's found, and based on the layout, he wants me to find it.
Oh, they would too have destroyed it. This lady was just about to go through and wipe everything and destroy all the samples. Oh, whatever.
Have you found anything else with added genetic data?
As a matter of fact, I have. There was a batch of Orchidaceae isotria in the growth lab, and...
And?
I can't remember exactly which specimen the other was. I do remember that it had blue flowers, broad leaves, and very, very small fruit.
Blue, broad, small. Alright. Blue, broad, small.
Have you found anything else?
There was a batch of Orchidaceae
And?
And Orchidaceae isometrica, or whatever. Blue, broad, small, and Orchidaceae.
Why didn't the facility's CI detect Baxter's vitals suddenly failing? It's a potentially hazardous environment in here.
We were wondering that as well. This afternoon we noticed the monitoring system in the sample lab was in recursion. All hell broke loose when the CI suddenly realized what had happened.
So either you've got a technical fault with the software or wetware interfacing,
Which is unlikely given how much they cost.
or someone breached the security systems to cover Baxter's murder. That gives me more hope. Regis would have no idea how to do that.
Interesting. Maybe it was his person on the telephone if that wasn't Baxter. Or maybe Baxter did it himself because he wanted to die for some reason. Or maybe Charlie knew more than he was letting on, or any number of things.
What sort of research were you conducting in the 60s?
You mean with Charlie and his wife? You might not
The other
believe it,
research.
But we were the people behind Central.
Central? The city governing AI Central?
The same. Newton was looking for a coordinator AI. Vargas put together a team including the new Mr. and Mrs. Regis.
Nuke me. Regis never mentioned anything about this.
It wasn't a happy memory for him. He left after the unpleasantness.
The Civil War.
We finished the project a few months later.
Huh. Might explain why he hates Central's guts.
You know, one thing that a lot of sci-fi properties are guilty of, and which this is abundantly guilty of, is sort of conflating all of science. Like, Charlie was a, nanomachines expert, and then a bioengineer, and then an AI developer, and now a police officer, which is not science, I guess. And then this lady, it's fine. I mean, it's fine. I'm sure everything ties together, and there's similarities in the fields, but man, in real science, you are a lucky person if you can move around. I'm a bit luckier than most in that way, because as a computer scientist, I do get called in to handle different labs. You know, I've worked with forensic bioinformatics. I've worked with people doing biological research in a number of different ways, and then just computational algorithmic stuff. But most sciences, it's like you find your specialty and you just cling to it with the extreme clinging force of, I don't know, a tick or something. But, you know, maybe he knew something like neural organization that would be used in a variety of subjects, or he knew how to grow neural networks or something. Let's go with that.
Is that all?
For now.
Then if you'll excuse me, I'll get back to work.
Alright, Sass Bucket. Finely controlled mist.
I'd better not. If I start taking every single specimen, I'll be here for
Yeah.
days.
Yellow epigeal plants. Okay. So we've got to find...
I'd better not.
Yeah. We've got to find, small fruit, broad leaves, and blue flowers. That kind of looks the same. Except I don't know if that's supposed to be a small fruit or not. And I don't know if those are broad leaves. That certainly isn't it. So let's continue to look for very, very small flowers. Also, this guy, Nestor, was said to be a malodist, something like that. So I'm not really sure what that's all about. What do we got here in these blue vines? Now, here we go. Broad leaves, blue flowers, small fruit. That's the guy right there.
I've taken a DNA sample from it.
Well, aren't you just real proud of yourself? Let's go back out to the dome and see if we are correct. Let's see if we can get the DNA sampler going here. Something about time to explain, and I thought I heard a Baxter in there. Yeah.
I'm going to need to find where he's hidden the rest of
I know you will. Alright. I think we can figure out that there's going to be an MAXLAO, probably, which is a little cute there, Charlie, but that's fine.
There's some more.
Alright, not a whole lot more, but we can guess.
We're going to need to find where he's hidden.
There's going to be an A and an X and an O left to find. The O will be the Orchidaceae, of course. Alright, what's this guy got to say? Ooh, a toolbox. Hey, can I have your... Buddy, can I have your
I
tools?
can't figure out what any of these tools are for.
Oh, you putz.
Hi there.
I am a possibility to move it from the TV.
Is he? Well, that's good to know.
My name's Dr. Max Lau. I'm a cell case specialist.
I can't not promise to avoid not doing that thing I don't do.
Well, I wouldn't ask you to.
You're not making any sense.
Insignificance could please even the most demanding follower, Floyd.
Are you alright?
I can't not promise to avoid not doing that thing I don't do.
Okay, so a malladist is apparently somebody that talks nonsense.
Can I get your name?
I can't not promise.
Okay.
I said that before. Okay.
What happened here?
Utter nonsense loves to love.
I see.
Utter nonsense does love to love.
I give up.
Every Thursday, a tribe of domineering braggarts awkwardly smears the ugly fiction monger with hoses.
Okay, so there's some pattern to that, but gosh, if I know what it is right now, so we'll just leave him be, I guess. Now then, Dr. Chigwa, can you tell us anything about that guy? What's going on with that guy?
Excuse me, Dr. Chigwa?
Make it quick, I'm busy.
I know you are, but you're sassy enough, I don't mind it.
I tried talking to your intern. It wasn't helpful.
Oh, never mind that. He's got aphasia.
Aphasia.
Isn't that treatable?
Oh, yes. He just gave it to himself.
Uh-huh.
It's what the kids are into these
Is it?
days.
Crippling neurological disorders?
Yes and no. Maladism, they call it. They give themselves old diseases. It only lasts about a week each time.
And you let him do that?
He's not public-facing, and as long as it doesn't get in the way of his work. I figure we all did things the old folks thought were stupid back when we were kids.
As an official old folk, let me say that is the dumbest thing I have ever heard in my life.
I need to ask Meester about the tampered specimens. How do I cure his aphasia?
Well, you wouldn't really cure it. He doesn't actually have the disease.
Yes, okay.
It's essentially wetware designed to occupy the Wernicke and Broca regions of the brain. This then produces the symptoms of the disease. That's what they're going for.
I can't wait a week for the wetware to break down.
Find a way to break it down early then. If we've got an emergency contamination, we use hydroxypyruvate isomerase. It's an enzyme that instructs the fabricators in wetware to disassemble themselves.
Okay, so we need to find some isomerase.
Is that all?
For now.
Then if you'll excuse me.
Yeah, excuse you, lady. Okay. Let's see, we've got genome data, we've got wetware. Can we smear some wetware on this gene sequencer?
It's only compatible with the sampler tool.
Oh, whatever. What can we smear this wetware on? Because I am feeling like doing some nonsense. Although we can't just trance like Mandela can, so it'll be interesting to see how we can do that. Let's see if we can go in here, huh? Yes, we can. Well.
Oh god, what a mess.
Yes, indeed, what a mess. This will be, I guess, Baxter, then.
Nothing unusual found on the body central. Estimation on time of death?
The climate control in the specimen lab is compromising your sensors. Ambient temperature is just above freezing.
Okay, so more evidence in the he could have been dead for a very long time style thing.
Update central.
What is the situation, Dr. Lau?
Dr. Baxter is certainly dead.
Yeah?
He's been decapitated. And not cleanly either.
His head has been removed.
No, the
More
other
like
decapitated.
destroyed. At a glance, this would be the most likely cause of death.
Yeah?
What is your estimation of the incident, Dr. Lau?
There's too much we can't say for sure. We don't know precisely when Baxter was murdered. We can't even be sure that this was the cause of death.
That is a fair assessment. A clearer picture will no doubt follow the autopsy.
Don't send in anyone yet. I still need to carry out a preliminary.
I understand. Continue your investigation of events surrounding the incident.
Understood. Lau out.
I'm
I
glad
hope
you
I can
understand.
find something to get Regis off the hook.
That's the kind of impartial police-ness that we police work that we pay for, that we hope for. Alright, so Baxter is super dead. Don't know where the head is. Let's see about this.
It's a drone that runs back and forth on rails. Must be what they use to store and retrieve samples in here.
Interesting. How about the console?
It looks like it's controlling the sorting drones on the racks.
Okay. Well, there's just a whole mess of things in here, isn't there? Undergoing weaponization, a Folia theoformis, targeting pollinating insects by the Greater Han Republic. Great. All glory to the Greater Han Republic. I'm sure they have great things going with it. Okay. This is kind of neat. I'm going to quickly scroll through these, and then you can, go through them more slowly yourself if you'd like to, and just see what all they're doing. This is neat. I like that they include these little details in here. Looks like we have people wanting new things for food, people bringing things out of extinction, people... cabbage. It's nice. People creating bioweapons, vanity project for Ecuadorian President Miguel San Marcos. I don't know if I'd call a thing a vanity project. I guess if we were sure he was never going to read it, that's fine. Spark fruit. Carpet weed. That's nice. I just love these little, I don't know, background details that really flesh out the world. It's one of my favorite things in this game. And, of course, we were going to want Xenosporans Tizardi, because that's the X in Max Lao. And we are smart, so we put that together.
The biohazard trefoil on these isn't encouraging.
Oh, get over it, Max. You're fine.
What is this stuff? Better trance up some data on it.
Yeah, let's see what we got. Extraterrestrial life. Neat. Thanks for making us dig up an extreme biohazard, Charlie. You are a peach. The most mundane alien invasion imaginable. I do kind of wish that this will end up being the plot of the rest of the game as we open this thing for further testing and then it just multiplies out of control, eventually dooming us all. Alright, let's see what else we can get into around here.
Warning. Security clearance not valid for access to Growth Lab. Vickerman Pharmaceuticals thanks you for your cooperation.
No problem, Vickerman, although I do need to get in there, so we're going to need to not do that. Can I wetware my way in? Boy, can I.
Warning. Security clearance not...
Come on.
New security profile created. Access granted. Welcome, Dr. Lau.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And into the extreme biohazard we go again. Now, let's see what we got going in here. Oh, a first aid kit. Does it have some of the drug we need?
This could be useful. Looks like a lot of cartridges for the injector.
Great. And we have all of these things here. It might be fun to look up some of these and see what they do. Draculin presumably sucks all the blood out of you. Potassium chloride and epinephrine. That would have been useful last chapter. But no, what we really need is some hydroxypyruvate isomerase. Or isomerase, if the other lady's to be believed. Yeah, you're really not supposed to be looking into UV lighting. We had some that we used for...
They've got these pipes everywhere.
Used for sterilization in a lab I was in, and it was supposed to be like under a hood, don't look into it, and just, sterilize things by leaving them under the light for a while. But, whatever. What do I know, says I, about the super space future, where people give themselves diseases and UV lights are just blinding everybody all the time. Anyway, Nestor, we gotta talk to you. And in service of that, we're just gonna jab you.
Mechanical holiday.
Really? How interesting.
Beached questions, you injector.
Say that again?
Overpass, did you stick me with an injector?
There we
I'll
go.
have to get my aphasia rate, chap.
Sorry,
Not
buddy.
cool, man.
Well, neither is your stupid hobby, Nestor.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
I'm CS Dr. Lau. I've been tasked with this investigation.
Martin Easter. I've been tasked with the factoring lab.
You work with Dr. Chikwa?
I work for Chikwa. I'm just the intern. Means I get stuck with all the lousy jobs she won't do.
I understand. I was an intern once.
So, what's CS? Detective?
Case specialist. So, yes, I guess you could say that.
Cool.
It is cool.
I'd like to hear from you what happened.
So, we came in this afternoon for the late shift, right? I checked on the factoring line, and it turns out the specimens are nuked up.
In what sense?
They don't match the catalog. Not that they're supposed to be.
Yes, we know what happened.
Baxter nuked it up again, so I checked the feed.
That's when you found the body?
Yeah, but Chikwa won't let me get a look. Told me to get back to work when she called Cell. Hey, can I get a look at the body with you?
I'm afraid not. Official procedure and stuff.
Also stuff. It is. Sorry, man.
Why'd you go and give yourself aphasia?
Not just that. There are loads of syndromes. It's maladies, man.
Aren't diseases like that dangerous, though?
It's not permanent, man. We ain't stupid.
You're pretty
Where
stupid.
nodes in the body create the symptoms of things we want, which you went and broke. Gee, thanks.
Sorry about that.
I'm not.
In any case, they're temporary then.
Exactly.
I still don't get it. What's the hook for maladism?
Man, you old folk never get things like MD.
Old?
Most of these syndromes are diseases that are completely curable. They just don't happen anymore. Society says no to them.
So it's countercultural? An act of rebellion?
Exactly. Diseases like that make the establishment uncomfortable. They don't want it to be a part of their society. But we show them they can't ever get rid of it completely.
You're rubbing their faces in it then.
And in another way, it's kinda retro. Illnesses like that are what shape society. The Black Death made Europe what it is.
Gotta appreciate the classics.
For a lot of us, it's also about who's hardest. Posers go for little things like botulism or influenza. But you know someone's got real nodes on them if they can stand a month with HIV.
Okay. You know, as a certified old person, I guess I don't get it, but, yeah, there are certain things which we advanced beyond and certainly shape us as a society, just because they're universally regarded as bad, like suffering. Now, I get that this is supposed to be a jab at the body modification community, or people that do, things that to harm themselves or to take on additional pain. Some musical styles are basically noise designed to harm the earlobes and et cetera, but I don't know, man. It seems pretty dumb to me. And it's a little bit too much like, oh, old people wouldn't get it, rather than... I guess he offered a philosophy in the sense of, like, they're going back and recreating what made civilization what it is. But I don't even think the body modification people today are really into, like, oh, society doesn't accept ripping open their skin, so that's why they're doing it. It tends to be for more personal reasons, I think, but whatever. Let's have some sympathy for Nestor and his stupid hobby.
So, what other diseases have you tried?
Loads of them. Parkinson's, syphilis, tuberculosis. Last month, it was Hansen's disease.
Leprosy.
Wait, leprosy?
Yeah, if you're a Zift, Hansen's is the real name.
Sounds like quite a selection.
That's why I came to study in Newton. Eurofed's just starting to get into MD culture, even talking about banning it. Newton's where it's at for it. You guys are a lot cooler about what you let people do.
On an individual basis, certainly. That's pretty much the founding philosophy here.
Okay, so it's like an anarchic free state, sort of, except they also let huge corporations do otherwise illegal biological work. Also, I'd like to point out, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think unless bits of you actually fall off, leprosy would just be numbness in the limbs, I think, and just extremities all over. I don't think it's a particularly painful disease or has many features besides... I'm going to have to look this up because I think I'm wrong about this, but I think all it really does is remove feeling in parts of your bodies, and so you don't notice how much force you're using and if body parts get injured. And so thanks to that and bad sterile technique, then that's why bits of you fall off. I think I'm right about that. In fact, if I'm recalling from my classes correctly, it's the extremities because the particular microbe it is, I forget if it's a virus or bacterium or whatever, I guess probably bacterium, doesn't do well in high heat environments, and so it settles in the extremities of the body where temperatures tend to be a bit cooler. And I think the only real symptoms you get are when things start falling off. Although maybe your skin turns whiter, paler than usual? I don't know, I'll have to look that up. Anyway, it's stupid and you're stupid, Nestor.
Dr. Chigwa tells me that some of the specimens have been tampered.
Oh yeah, I found one of those. Man, couldn't they have just killed the guy without messing up my work?
Okay.
I need to find it. Which specimen was it?
Oh, the Corsae Brasileira. When I found it, I just thought Baxter was nuking it up again.
What did you do with it?
I just sent it back to the specimen lab. Should be there in the sample store.
A Corsae Brasilica. Well, that would be the A in either Max or Lao.
How do young people go about getting sick these days?
It's a lot harder, but that shows it's a choice.
Oh, shut up.
We use wetware to create symptoms, like the aphasia. The wetware I had for that was programmed to lodge in the Broca and Wernicke regions of the brain.
So it's not really Broca's aphasia.
Same symptoms, though.
You'd buy wetware nodes from shops?
Nah, find hobby GG programmers through the trans. They're always looking to sell. It's like a contest. They're always releasing syndromes, competing with each other. You looking to get into it?
Not really my scene, thanks.
You know, I've mentioned before that part of my educational training was in microbiology and biotechnology and stuff, and there are some experimental biology mailing groups that I've been a part of where if people could do this kind of thing, they totally would. There are way more people than you might think out there with labs in their garages, you know, working on not disease stuff that I know of, at least those people don't post on the mailing list I was a part of, but working on cool new biological projects. I think it's really neat, actually, and I'm glad that there are hobbyists out there that do this sort of thing. Obviously, this sort of vanity, dumb project. You know, I think diseases and having diseases is close enough to being recognized as a universal bad that there's no, like, of course society doesn't want that to be, you know, a part of them. Like, it doesn't seem like you're bringing anything good back. Like, that's one of those things we would all prefer to do away with. You know, I can understand fighting back against what you might see as an oppressive society, but, I don't know, oppression from disease, unless you're like a plague mage from D&D or something, doesn't really say, whatever, Nestor, I'm gonna beat on that dead horse. The rest of the game, probably goodness only knows. You've riled me, Nestor. You've made an enemy, and I'm not gonna shut up about it.
What do you think of Dr. Chigwa?
She's a hard ass, but she knows what she's doing. Kinda thinks she feels wasted working here.
She might be, even though this is a pretty high-tech place.
What can you tell me about Dr. Baxter?
Not much. He only started here a couple of weeks ago. Chigwa dropped him in the specimen lab and kinda left him here.
She neglected him?
Nah, he just barely left. Could have been a workaholic, but I think he just couldn't focus on anything else.
Did he ever talk about his past with you?
Man, he didn't even talk to me, period. About anything.
Okay.
What's your personal opinion of Dr. Baxter?
He didn't talk much. One nuked up guy. Chigwa told me he'd been released from jail. Looked like he had a governor in his head.
That's correct. It affected his behavior?
Dude, that's an understatement.
Eye
That
roll.
Vulcan was like a zombie. One time, I dropped the whole sample tray in his lab. Anyone else would have yelled at me. He started to get mad, then looked just about ready to puke.
The governor inhibited violent thought. He'd been serving a murder sentence.
Oh, no way. Who'd he whack?
That's confidential.
Man, that's unfair.
So is his
For a piece.
sentencing, I'm sure. Anyway, so the governor, they didn't lobotomize him, they just made it so he couldn't think angry or violent thoughts, which makes you wonder if he found some way around that to torment Charlie. I mean, he was apparently a brilliant researcher, so if anybody could do it, it would be him. That doesn't seem like a super secure kind of setup.
Remind me, what was that specimen you found?
Jeez, what are you,
Oh, I
senile?
remember.
It was a Corsae Brasileira.
Corsae Brasileira.
Alright, I'll let you get back to your job.
Uh-huh, whatever.
Yeah, whatever indeed, Nestor. Alright, well, let's go get that a Corsae Brasileira. Also note, as I said before, that we can't check out the governor, because the governor ain't here, because the head is detached from the body. Alright, let's get that a Corsae. We're slowly piecing together all that we need, of course. Here we go. discovered recently in the Amazon Conservation Zone. It's being tested for marketable traits, and that's just another one of the priceless genomes that we messed up because we had to leave a message in the most inefficient way imaginable. That's fine. A ragged-looking flower indeed. Well, there we go.
I've taken a DNA sample from it.
Well, aren't you just prouder nor 10 paycocks? To use an old term. Let's see if we can make out anything of the message. Also, Nestor, can you tell us what your tools are?
I didn't realize that gengineering was done with so much tape and wrenches.
I guess you can't.
I can't figure out what any of these tools are for.
Oh, you dummy. Alright, let's get out of here. Let's go sample that thing. So, you know, there's just a lot of... I don't feel like any part of this was well done. You know, there was the part where they let a brilliant engineer, a violent, brilliant engineer loose with a governor in his head, which supposedly was going to keep, you know, him docile, but who knows? There was the part where, in defiance of what I would consider to be good practice, they've let personal politics, the people in charge have let personal politics and preferences interfere with a criminal investigation.
It worked.
Oh, well, I'm glad it did. There's a lot going on here.
According to this, he's been dead for on his case. Good luck.
Okay. Something about he's been dead for blah blah blah. Case, good luck.
I'm going to need to find where he's hidden the rest of the message before I get any sense out of it.
Right. So we need this O here, or no, this X, Xenopharengus, blah 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 blah, and there's also, she doesn't notice, I guess we let ourselves in here. There's also an Orchidaceae that we are looking at after. We'll have to see if we can find those in the growth lab. Without any protective gear on, I'm not really sure we should be interacting with those, with those UV lights. It's fine.
Oops.
Oh. Oh. Well, hopefully that's okay. And down we go. Now, it looks like we've got... I really like the design of these. You've got these just, you know, pale, unnatural lights. Well, presumably if we hadn't found the other plant, that other place. Let's see if we can look at the control panel here. Hey, there we go. In Chamber A, we've got Orchidaceae isotera. That is what we need.
I'll be here for hours if I start taking every single plant.
All right, we know it's the right one. Let's take a sample.
I've taken a DNA sample from it.
Great. I'm really glad for you. And here we have our growth matrix.
What is this stuff?
Oh, you already looked at that. Xenosporens tazardii, explosive growth. We're going to put it here in this empty growth matrix, in defiance of probably a lot of international
I've
law.
planted the growth matrix. Let's hope I got Mom's green fingers.
Let's hope that this automated facility works correctly. I saw a really neat Japanese artificial growth factory kind of thing before. It was way more efficient than this, obviously. Just a big warehouse, but they had the light and the growing conditions just right, and they were really doing some next generation growth of fast growth of crops and stuff like that. They're supposed to be way more efficient and controllable than outdoor farms.
Warning, copyright breach in progress.
Oh, that sounds bad.
Excuse me?
You are not authorized to remove Orchidaceae isotria samples from the growth
Oh,
lab.
come on.
They are copyrighted property of Typho Labs GmbH. Beginning
Purge. Are they gonna murder us?
Hey, my sample!
Oh no. We're just gonna murder our sample.
What did you do?
Yeah.
To prevent theft of intellectual property, gene sequences in your possession have been neutralized. Have a nice day.
Well, that's no
Gee,
good.
thanks.
We're gonna have to find some way around that. I wonder if that's also true of the Xenoterra one. Xenoterra, of course, being foreign land, as in from an asteroid. Well, Nestor,
Excuse me.
Yeah?
we broke a lot of stuff in there.
I think there might be a problem in the growth
Oh.
lab. I kinda, sorta planted that xenofungus from the growth matrix.
Oh, awesome. That stuff is hella toxic.
Yeah.
Nukes nerve tissue up like nothing.
Oh.
You sound strangely upbeat about environmental catastrophes.
You caused it.
Nah, man, it's cool. This shit happens all the time. Management gives us time off whenever they run decon.
Okay. Well, I guess he's cool with us growing a bioterror sample in there. That's fine.
I need to remove the Orchidaceae isotria sample from the growth room. Thing is, the airlock told me it was copyrighted, then blasted me with gas.
Yeah, that one belongs to Tiefel. They're way touchy about it. Only lab staff are able to remove it for factory.
Could you get the sample for me?
Hey, no way, man. I'm already on 2 strikes for taking stuff out of the lab.
So you could, but you won't.
Sorry, man. Chico already thinks I'm stealing stuff. There's a huge street market for things like spark fruit or cracked wetware.
Really? Maybe we need to deal with that. Also, to the canny adventure gamer, a solution already presents itself.
Hey, the pipes in the growth lab are leaking.
Ah, you'll get again? Better go fix it before Chico starts yelling.
He will, of course, take his tools with him. And one wouldn't warrant that he'll be in there for a short period of time. Let's us quickly follow him and see if we can work our magics on the inside. See, there he is, working away on them. Never mind us. Let's go down and see if that Xenoterra is ready. I mean, it's supposedly an extremely fast-growing kind of plant, so it may already have grown within the cylinder. Oh gosh! yeah, it did. If it grew that fast, that much, then I would say it's probably not safe here to be here for long. Also, they said it, quote, nukes nerve tissue?
I've taken a DNA sample from it.
Great.
I hope it doesn't grow in my pocket.
I don't know that a DNA sample would necessarily. Either way, there's the Xenoterra, there's the Orchidaceae.
I've taken a DNA sample.
Yeah. And now that we have Nestor in here, who's permitted to remove anything, you'll note, and more importantly, we have Nestor's toolbox in here, and he's just enough of a dope not to notice this kind of thing. In they go. Surprised we couldn't hack ourselves these credentials. I like his little punk bracelets. I'm glad to know that that never went out of style. Alright. And of course his red Converse shoes. Maybe we should call into Central and let it know that we've done a bunch of crimes. Hey, Central.
Dr. Lau, please continue your investigation of the murder of Dr. Baxter.
Okay.
Your involvement has been requested by the highest levels of civil government.
I know.
Please find data relevant to the case on your secure system at SAM headquarters.
I did. Thank you. Thank you, Central. Alright, Central's got nothing to say. Well, having finagled our way out of this, let's say, it's not quite as by the book as Charlie would do. Of course, then again, Charlie stole a bone out of a dead guy to explode an apartment, so he doesn't really have much room to talk then, does he? Never mind us, Nestor. Also, don't take care of your tools or notice what's in your toolbox, please. Thank you, thank you. Alright. That should be the completed message, allowing us to continue our investigation. So I don't know what to say about this place. I like that it's here. I really do. It's a neat little rogue science facility. It looks really pretty, and I just like the whole thing about it. Nestor's obviously horrible, but you know what? He's horrible in an entertaining way.
Yes!
Yes, alright. We knew it was gonna work. Okay.
Aha! Got some.
That's everything. Let's hear it, folks.
Lau, if you're listening to this, well, it means they've got me.
Oh, we already knew this
Oh
one.
no, Regis, no, no, no.
But Lau, ignore anything left in the recording up to this point.
Okay.
Huh?
Sorry for being so unhelpful with the message, but I had to be sure you were the one who heard it first. Everyone will be saying that I came to the lab well, for Baxter, and they might be right. Except that he's been dead since before I got here.
Yes!
We need to touch bases on this case. Meet me where we were both first involved in a case. I'll try to explain when you get here. Good luck.
Oh, thank God. You've got some explaining to do, Regis.
Not a whole lot. He came to kill... Oh, we don't know about the other thing yet. But we'll find out about it next time on Let's Play Technobabylon. See you then.